For all of you who listen to Submersion and own an Android device, go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I personally use the app and I love it. I can search for the podcast I want to listen to, select it as a favorite, and have it just a click away. Make sure you select Submersion as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes every Thursday. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices. Episode 125.
Woo! It's been a second.
Ooh, yeah, man. We are on. We are live. It's been a minute since we've been on. I just realized that said every Thursday. Seems like we've been going every other Thursday lately, or Tuesday, or whatever the heck.
We got shit going on, so
yeah, we do. We do have that going on. So, is what it is. Bram, as you can see, or Ben, is now the Unabomber, and maybe we'll have to change the intro a little bit. I like that. Hey, hide that mouth. There we go.
We got everybody on the pod tonight, though.
Yeah, full crew.
We do.
What's the opposite of a skeleton crew?
We've been over this, Jamie. It's a fleshy crew.
A fleshy crew.
And then someone says, a fleshlight crew.
Nice. So that's
the
joke.
That'd be Alex, probably.
I'm just fast forwarding through the joke.
There you go.
It's kind of like what this movie did we watched tonight, right? Fast forward through all the jokes.
Oh wow, dude! He wants to get right into it.
No, I don't. Let's specifically talk for the next hour without talking about the movie at all.
All right,
I can do it. I can do it.
So this is just a total, just out of left field question. You guys ever do something that you think is going to be like a good idea and you're really gung ho about it, and then after you do it, you just like feel like a total piece of trash? You're like, why'd I do that?
Well, what do you mean piece of trash? Why would I feel like a piece of trash by doing it?
Maybe you just regret it. You're like, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
No, so when
because now I realize who I am inside.
Oh, yeah,
so dye your beard?
Dye your beard? No, I didn't dye my beard at all. This is all natural right here.
Oh.
But no, when I first got to college, when I had my first birthday while I was there, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. I want to get a picture of my first birthday at college. And what I wanted my picture to be was me passed out on a roof of a building. And I was like, oh, that'd be fun. That'd be funny. Whatever.
I like that.
But the only way to get onto the roof of the building was to hang out of a window and drop onto the roof was kind of below a portion of a building next to it or whatever. So there's a roof of another building. I'm in the building next to it, hanging out of a window. And I'm hanging on the window, and I'm like, as I'm hanging there, I'm like, this is a terrible idea. And I fell about a story and a half, and I tore up my hands scrambling against the wall. And I fell on my back, and everyone was like, Jamie's killed himself by trying to get a picture, basically. And then they had to make a human chain to pull me back up into the window.
Holy
shit, I couldn't get up there.
Jamie.
I was on a roof. There was nowhere else to go.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That completely beats what I was even going to discuss.
Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, what's funny is probably most people
fell a story and a half.
Oh yeah, I was hanging, and my feet. I realized that it was probably a full body length for me all the way from my feet down to the roof, and I was like, this is not good.
Dude, that is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
I fell, but then I had my hands all torn. I still have a scar on my pinky from it. But
Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Right?
I feel like that's out of Jamie's character.
Well, if you knew me in college,
a couple college stories, yeah, and it sounds like although he was at a very prestigious school, his college experience doesn't sound wildly different than ours.
Right.
Other than that, they were just doing these really smart things behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah. I'd wake up and I'd do homework the entire day, and then I'd do all the stuff that most people would do in college.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Just
more or
craziness.
less.
Wow.
So what was your story?
I didn't think.
So Kyle, what was your story?
Well, dude, no, I'm just gonna feel like a total piece of trash.
I didn't feel like trash because I didn't feel like trash after. I just felt like an idiot.
Oh, okay. All right.
That was stupid.
It's no secret that many of us like to play games. So I was like, I just got this cabinet because I was like, I need to put my games somewhere. So I was like, how many games do I have? So on my lunch day, I was like, I'm going to inventory all my games, see what I've got. And then just the sheer amount of video games that I own made me wonder, like, at what point does this go from just gaming into hoarding? And I was like, I don't really understand. So how many physical games do you guys think that I own?
350.
No way. There's no way he has 350. Come on. Was he got
Combined?
a game dungeon in his house?
Can it combine? Maybe, dude.
I don't think so. I think you have...
264.
I'm still going to go lower. I'm going 180. I think that's feasible.
Okay, Alex, any guesses?
69.
And this is across. I guess I should let you guys know. This is across like from Game Boy all the way up to PS5. But like I sold my PS1 and PS2 years ago, so I don't have those anymore.
Yeah, so I actually changed my answer. I'm also going a 69.
Okay, perfect. 196.
Oh, never mind. I didn't change my answer. I had a perfect answer.
Physical copies. And then I haven't even finished cataloging these, but 398 digitals.
Wow.
Woo,
It's a lot digital.
doggy.
That's like, whoa, my God. I'm about to the point where I could play a different game every day of the year.
Gamer
so
life,
I don't-
bro.
No, sorry. I can. Sorry. I forgot how
gamer
many
life,
days
bro.
are in a year because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, so I actually don't think that's hoarding at all. That's perfectly reasonable to have that many games. If you get to
All
that
right,
many
good.
VHS tapes, then we're going to have a talk.
That's true. And I have like 2, so.
Okay. Because you gave them all
Actually,
to me.
no, I lied. I have a bunch of family videos I'm converting, so I have more than 2, but.
So what's this podcast about?
Oh,
Dude,
right.
nobody even knows, man. What is this? Listeners, what is this?
What is this?
If
What
you're
is
looking
life?
at our faces and you tuned into this right now, you'd be like, what is this?
What the hell
You got
is
a
even
guy hiding
this?
behind a... That's what I'm saying, man. Look at us. That guy's drinking wine. I'm drinking Crispy Boys. A couple green screens.
I got a
couple
Periscope Pale
scrubs,
Ale.
Water. What are you, sober now?
Yep, going
Dude,
dry.
He needs to replenish all his fluids.
I'm a dry guy. Like
He's
Fred
a shy
Durst.
guy.
Okay.
He's a dry guy. Dive.
What began as an innocent conversation among friends would soon spiral out of control and later be referred to by future generations as the eighth wonder of the modern world. Mac East Studios takes you on the journey of your lifetime as your captains, the artist formerly known as Brom, Jamie the Ointment, Kyle El Capitan, and the Gruesome Twosome present Submersion.
Doesn't get old.
Yes.
Doesn't get old.
Submersion.
Did Alex say
Not
anything
good.
during
And
that
I just
cold
want to
open?
know, are we streaming? Can anybody see it?
I haven't been able to see it, but I
Want me to
stopped
pull it up?
trying.
I
I
stopped,
stopped
trying.
trying.
Too.
I stopped trying because it didn't seem to be coming
Wonderful.
up.
Check us out on twitch.tv/Mac East Studios.
Studios.
Great. It's actually on my stream, so screw that
Personal
up.
stream. Brr, brr, brr. So is that a problem because you're getting so many viewers right now in your personal stream?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's fine.
What a jackass.
All right. Anyways. Yep. Screwed that up. But we are live on my own stream. So
Nice.
what? Let's get down to brass
I
tacks.
think we got to get on your business because I don't even remember much about this movie, and there's no
Yeah.
description online, so it may take a while of bumbling through this plot to really hammer
worry.
down
I take some
exactly
good
what's
notes.
up. Good, yeah, I know. See, I rely on you, Kyle, and I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate you, and I see you,
All right.
and I hear you, and I feel
Wow, wow.
Ugh. Unabomber. What did we watch?
Wait, why me? We gotta get Alex some airtime here. I think this is
that's
his,
true.
this is his
He's been
thing.
down there just twiddling his fingers down there.
you. Twiddling something.
Oh,
Oh, that's why his camera's not on? Is that
don't
what you're
take
saying?
pot
That's
shots
what
at the
I'm
poor
saying.
guy.
Hey, G-rated podcast.
As we're drinking on it. I think you've already been swearing, yeah.
Hey, fuck off. Oh,
Yeah, and you're gonna get an earful of one of my jokes later. It might be about a piece of some anatomy, if you know what I mean. All right, Alex, what do we watch?
ding dong.
Well, we watched a movie called Going Under, and it was directed by Mark W. Travis. And from what I can see, it's also known as Dive.
Yes, with an exclamation point, to be very clear.
Now,
I-
I've really enjoyed this movie. and if at any point you guys ruin it, I will be making a sound, and you're going to have to revise the statement to make it more in line with my kind of rating.
All right.
I see.
So you can't say anything bad about it. This movie is about as close to perfect as we're going to get.
Can we get a sample of the sound so we know what to listen for?
It'll be something different each time.
Okay.
You just don't know.
All right. This was from 1991, by the way.
Yes, and it starred Bill Pullman, which everyone obviously knows from a number of films, including another spoof film, because this is a spoof film called Spaceballs, which is what I first knew him from. But then most people might say, oh, he's the president from Independence Day. And then we have like Wendy Shaw, and she was like from a whole bunch of stuff back in the day. And then Robert Vaughn's in there. We've seen him before. He was in Virus, that Japanese film. And then
Virus.
Ned Beatty, who we've seen a bunch of times, obviously. And he shows up again. I think this may be our last one for Ned, although that may be wrong. He may show up in a couple other submarine ones. But I think this may be our third or fourth Ned Beatty film that we've
Is it
watched.
really?
I think so, yeah. I think so. But yeah.
What else did we watch him in?
So he was in Grey Lady Down, right?
Okay.
Oh, so this is not going to be the last one for us. So he's also in 1941, which is another comedy film that involves.
Okay.
Yep. And then he was also in. There's another one he was in. I swear to God, there's another one he's in. Well, it's not worth me going through all of his things, but I'm pretty sure we saw him in something else as well. I believe whatever.
Well, under the alias Ned Beatty Harris, he's been in quite a few movies.
Yes, and that may come up later. His affiliation with that Harris. So we got Going Under, starring Bill Pullman and Ned Beatty. And it's important to say Ned Beatty because he starts off this film. So we're jumping right into it, guys. So you better get your last comments in before we start. Good to go.
You're the best, Ned. Get it.
So Ned's sitting there and he's like loving life. He's basically like kind of a sleazy Department of Defense guy who's got a deal going with Vaughn, who's the head of a defense contractor. And they've got it all sorted out where they're really slow rolling all kinds of stuff. He's like rubber stamping all this like expenditures. He's like, boom, give me that, give me that, give me that. Just having money kind of rolling and just spending money to get money. So basically like what it costs that much, but it's going to be a kickback. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. So he keeps on like rolling money back to himself. And Vaughn is this contractor who's slow rolling the building of a new stealth submarine. They keep on talking about that stealth submarine. And it's the, substandard, the USS Standard. So they can call it substandard. Get it? You guys get it?
Very
Did you
good.
get it though? Because it's
very good.
I picked it up. Because they were
kept
putting it down. I was there picking it up.
Yeah, they put it down a lot, actually. They said it quite a bit.
Clever AF.
But all of a sudden, Ned, he's called into a meeting with like the head of the head Secretary of Defense or something like that. And he's, for whatever reason, a spoof of Mr. Rogers. He like comes in and he's like singing,
bizarre.
And he like puts on a little sweater, actually kind of like a sweater like I'm wearing today. Puts on a sweater and then he like puts on some
Did you plan that?
No.
plan that for the
I
stream?
was just wearing this. This is my normal everyday attire. And he's basically like, hey, the president really wants a substandard in the water in a week. And Ned Beatty's like, you got to understand how these things happen. And he's like, no, that's actually that's how it's going to be. We need it, and it's going to happen. And so Ned kind of freaks out, runs to Vaughn, and it's basically like, we got to get this in the water in a week. And Vaughn's like not happy about this at all. He needs the money. It's more about getting money. So what is he going to do? Well, he's going to set up this whole situation that, okay, yeah, we're going to put something in the water. You find someone who is definitely going to screw it up, and we're going to start a war, and that's how I'm going to be making money now. Is once there's a war, you're going to need all kinds of stuff from me, and I'll, make my money that way. So, like, don't even worry about it. And so they are like, who could possibly fuck this up the most? We get a little flashback to Bill Pullman, and he was a former / current submarine captain who beached a submarine. Basically because he was so afraid of tight spaces and water and giving commands that he froze up and just rammed his boat right onto the beach. Right, guys?
Yes.
That is
Yes.
correct.
I just got to bring you guys into this. How are you feeling about the movie at this point? Are you loving it? Are you laughing? Are you living?
I was laughing.
By this
Yeah,
point, I knew
Alex,
what
I
the
know you
movie
liked it.
was. I didn't know what to expect, but realized very quickly this is something a la like Hot Shots, or what were the others? Airplane, Spaceballs, sort of, I guess. Yeah.
No, Spaceballs, I guess, was more specific to exactly what it was spoofing. This is more of, yeah, you're right, more like an Airplane, where they make their own narrative and bring in some spoofs here and there. But anyways,
Naked Gun. That's another good example.
Yeah.
I think
And
I think
so
a Naked Gun came out in '91 as well. Maybe Naked Gun 3 or something like that.
Yeah, I can get into it, but the book that kind of details comedies or military comedies actually said how it's weird that it seems like it was made as a spoof, but then they didn't really spoof very much and instead made it more like a police academy film. So it's much more like a police academy band of misfits doing good than anything else, which is accurate. But so anyways, he's like he screwed up, but he's basically lived a life of like a golden life of some sorts. He was a high school kid who threw the winning touchdown. Everyone adores him. They're like, Biff, 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 we love you, Biff, Biff. And he just can't, he basically wilts under pressure in the case of being underwater and being in a contained space. So anyways, Ned Beatty's like, that's my guy. And so he comes out of his session with his psychotherapist because he's trying to work through all these things. And he's like, Biff, you are now the captain of the substandard. And he's like, what? Like, he can't even believe that he would be given that position. And he wants to get out of it. He doesn't even want to be the captain. And so he goes to the bar, and he's like chilling there, and all his friends love him. He's trying to escape. They're going to arrest him and force him to be the captain. And he runs to the bar and to avoid them. And everyone's like congratulating him. They want him to reenact his thing. He bumps into his ex-girlfriend and is like, oh shit, this lady. Right, guys?
Kinda. I mean, he he throws a drink right on her.
Yeah.
And then he, to try to hide from some other guys, he kisses her real quick.
Oh yeah, that's
She
right.
ain't
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
that. She is not having that.
And I also did not appreciate it because she did not consent to that kiss, guys.
It's very
So I
true.
didn't like it. And yeah, so he's eventually dragged out of the bar because he's, being forced to be the captain, dragged all the way to what is, kind of a Crimson Tide. Even this was before Crimson Tide came out, but kind of like a launching of this boat. And it looks very impressive. This big sail of a submarine. And you're like, whoa, look at that big sail. And he goes up and he's basically like, congratulations, you're the captain. And he is walked directly on there despite not wanting to be on there, and goes onto the submarine and goes behind a wood facade and just like a piece of shit submarine that he's walking onto.
Oh, yeah.
And at this point, they have a very long and actually reminiscing about it, I actually kind of enjoyed it, joke about them having hats that have very long brims.
Insanely long. I mean, it was like a foot and a half long?
Yeah.
Or something. Everybody had these hats on.
I'm not sure why, but it does tickle me a little bit. Just like all
There was
the
no
gags.
reason.
The
There was
physical
just
gags.
nothing.
And then they kept them because at one point, the rest of the film, one of the guys had it rolled up like a sardine can. Like you could see that he had rolled up the brim of his hat. I don't know. There was something so silly and great about that one. Yeah. I really enjoyed it, actually. But anyway, see, they keep on hitting each other with the brims of these hats, trying to look under each other's hats. Like they can't see each other under these giant brims of hats. And he goes down, meeting other people, and they're all just the worst. They're the worst crew. They're a police academy type crew.
One's even a kid.
Yeah, one's a little kid, a kid genius, which you'd think you just get a regular kid, not just, a kid genius seems like a good idea. He's a genius.
I like the sonar tech, though. It's like some, 85-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Who's just
also competent, also good at her job.
Yeah.
Another one who wilts under pressure similarly, he can't handle tests and that kind of stuff.
The communications officer.
Yeah,
Who's horrible with communication.
Right. And goes down the thing, meeting all the people, and gets to someone where this was more or less their political officer, someone who's been put on there for launch because they want to make sure that they've got an eye on them from the Pentagon. And who is it? Who is it, guys?
No way. It can't be. They wouldn't do that in a movie. They wouldn't put his ex-girlfriend on a submarine with him, would they?
They did. And so it's his ex-girlfriend, and they're like hitting each other with the brims of their hats. That's great. And then eventually he takes off his hat because it's getting in the way, and he hits the bridge. And they're like, he's like, time to launch, ready to go, but no one's on the bridge. And eventually that's like a joke or something. It's like, get everyone in here. It's not even that funny. There's also a mole. Mr. Mole is on the submarine, and he's like hiding out. He's trying to like sabotage the submarine at every turn. So anyways, they start cruising, and they're basically, first way that they're going to try, that Ned Beatty's going to try to destroy their submarine, is send them to the abyss, starting at Harris.
The abyss.
Mm-hmm. And so they're like, no one's ever survived the abyss. And this is where it starts to like stumble a little bit of exactly how they like just seemed a failure to take something from the page and put it on screen, because they were like, no one's ever survived the abyss. They go to the abyss, they dive into the abyss, and then they just like leave the abyss, and everyone's like, how do they survive the abyss? Like they're like trying to fix things, they're making sure things aren't crushing from crush depths and stuff like that. But really, they go down, they stop diving, they stop themselves from crushing, and they leave. And Ned Beatty's like, how did they survive? So it's like, well, it's obvious how they survived.
Yeah,
they just stopped diving, and then they left.
And here they even use some of the tricks that we've seen in some of the more serious movies. Or maybe, did they do it in Down Periscope? I'm having a hard time remembering, where they hang the string up in between.
Yes, they did.
The hull and
Okay,
yeah. So.
Well, and we just saw it in the Ghazi attack.
Ghazi attack, yeah.
Yeah. What is it, man? Every once in a while, we'll just watch these movies and it'll just be
string. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, I mean, I guess one of the good things that comes out of this whole like abyss scenario is that Biff, Bill Pullman's character, he kind of endears himself to the crew a little bit, because he goes down to help them stop the leak or stop the crush of the hull from happening, and kind of gets everyone together and hops on to like a rod and fixes the problem, Now, Kyle. Kyle. So I am losing a little bit of exactly what the next thing that happened here. So So
Ned Beatty takes control.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Sorry. That's what we were just talking about.
Right. He's trying to take it down. Yeah. Because that's the thing. That's what. Yeah. So they had said like switching control to home. He had tried to crush them by going to the abyss, and then they were just like switching back to us and left. And Ned Beatty's like, how did they survive? It's like, because they took away your control. What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah, they did that. And then at this point, also, Bill Pullman is freaking out. He has to, he kind of escapes into this image room that we were shown earlier in the movie, where he spends quite a long portion of the movie hanging out in. And, it's just basically like a giant virtual reality simulation, and he's golfing in there for a really long time. And then at this point, he's kind of just delegated his duties, and they now have to go into Russian waters to get a nuclear bomb off of a satellite that is going to crash into the water.
Yeah, so I know, so I think it was basically Ned Beatty's like, what's going on? Vaughn was like, you're doing a shit job, I'm going to take control. And he crashes his own satellite into Russian waters, which has a nuclear bomb on it. And at this point, yeah, you're right. Biff is like, things are going great. Thank God this is just a training mission. We'll be heading home soon. And his ex-girlfriend's like, actually, I just got the real commands. This is a real mission now. We have to go to this satellite. And he heads into the image room. And you're right. He spends a huge amount of time there, now that I'm thinking about it.
I was shocked. I couldn't believe how much time he spent in that room.
Because he's gone for a while at this point. There's a lot of going back and forth. There's some people with some really bad Russian accents and this was another scene that I actually enjoyed, where they...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the portion was good. Where it's the U.S. and the Russians, and the Russians are like, oh, they're trying to trick us. They're being all tricky. Look at this submarine. It's the substandard. We know about it. It's the stealth submarine. It's their new weapon. We've got the Pink November. Now, that's not the joke that I enjoyed, because Pink November is a horrible name and barely a spoof, but just a mistake. They shouldn't have done that. But at this point, they're also like playing kind of games with each other, like war games with each other. And they keep on like upping the ante. And they're like, how about this? And you see like a bunch of like destroyers going and like, well, and what about that? And they're like pushing a bunch of buttons and like planes start going. And they keep on going back and forth. It's pretty funny.
And they just keep saying, at one point, it just starts cutting. They're like, oh, yeah. And they smack a button. The other one's, oh, yeah. And they just keep doing it. And that goes on for a decent amount of time until eventually they punch through the wall. And then they're both on the opposite sides of the room from each other.
What I enjoyed is how joyful they seemed at each one. They're like, ho, 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 when they see like what the other person did. Like just how happy they are. They're like, oh, that's pretty good. But how about that one? With all these warships.
And anyways, it was nice because you're like, okay, this is Cold War stuff, right? Just, oh yeah, well here's this. Oh yeah, well then here's this. Just over and over and over again.
And so they kind of have to deal. Is this where they had to deal with the Pink November briefly? How do they get to the satellite?
Yeah.
How do they get to the satellite again?
They have to escape, and instead of sub having the Caterpillar drive, which is something we would have seen in The Hunt for Red October, they have the ability to turn the submarine into like a whale.
Right.
And so it looks like it's a biologic and can no longer be detected as a submarine.
And so they keep on switching back and forth.
Even has a whale face on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they keep on switching back and forth between it because there's a whaling boat that is attacking them when they pretend to be a whale. And then they get torpedoes shot at them whenever they pretend to be a submarine. And they kind of go back and forth between those two things for a while. And eventually they turn into like a sled or something, right, guys? They like leap out of the ocean.
Oh, that is...
It was like a bobsled.
Yeah, it's become like a bobsled.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, cool runnings, man. Yeah.
And they smash through like ice.
That's a little bit later because right now they have to go... They're in Russian waters and they have to get to the satellite with the nuclear bomb on it.
Right.
And once they get it, they realize that this nuclear bomb cannot be disarmed because I think it says right in the manual, right? This cannot be disarmed.
Right.
And so they're going to tow the satellite to the abyss and drop it off there.
Yeah, so I think that's how they get to the satellite is by turning into a bobsled, I believe.
This is afterwards, though, right? They have to escape. They have to escape the Russian armada.
That's when they do the football stuff.
They shoot out of the water, and they're like fly up a mountain, and then they become the bobsled, and then eventually they get away.
I don't think you're right. I don't think about the order of events on this one.
I think it is, man.
I don't think so, but that's okay. I mean, because that's the thing. When we recap these movies, it's more of an amorphous description of the film. Things could happen out of order. Things could happen not at all. Things could happen. But one thing we do know is at this point, Bill Pullman, he gets his nickname. That's why they call him the Pullman, because he pulls down that zipper and he pulls out that man at this point. As he becomes the captain that we need to go out in the mini sub.
Doing anything for like 30 minutes, and that's what gets him.
Dude, that was funny.
And so then he jumps in the mini sub. He like gets all his things because they get him back from the simulator, and he gets into the mini sub, and he goes over and he finds that the nuclear bomb is not able to be disarmed, and he's got the mole there too, and he leaves him behind in the satellite, but comes back and is basically like, yeah, we're fucked, we're screwed. They're like, okay, well, we don't have anything left, and the timing here is all funny because at some point they're like, we have 13 seconds left, and it's like 12 minutes later they finally deposit the bomb, but it's all screwed up that way. But at this point, they're basically like, we have no recourse. What do we do? We're going to blow up and start a war with Russia. And he's like, hold on, give me a second. And Bill Pullman, he calls up Joe Namath and is like, Joe. And Joe's like...
He's also a submarine captain, right?
Yeah. And Joe Namath is basically like, you've got to punt. In this situation, you've got to punt. You cannot... You just, punt the satellite and get out of there. And he's like, okay. But Biff, he's not about that. He's like, okay, yeah, we're going to punt. We're going to punt. Everyone, we're going to punt. We're going to punt. We're going to punt. And the Russian armada is like, okay, they're going to punt. And so they drop back with the satellite and like, okay, they're going to punt. And then it's a fake. And everyone's like, it's a fake, it's fake, it's fake. And they have this whole football scene where they go around and the Pink November is chasing them. And it's like, are they going to make it? 30, 20, 10. and they make it to the finish line. They go through the goalposts, and the Pink November hits the goalpost and crashes. And they are able to get to where the abyss is, and they only have like 10 seconds left. And like now we can drop the satellite into the abyss. It'll explode harmlessly down there. Like, but when they start to do it and they pull the chain to do it, it gets stuck, and they're like, well, we're screwed. So everyone's gonna die, and they like say their prayers and all that stuff. But then it explodes, and everyone's fine. And it turns out who comes out of the smoke but the mole himself, the guy who's been trying to sabotage them this whole time, who has used his scythe that he had apparently to cut the chain of the satellite and have it drop into the abyss. And they are now heroes. They're no longer a band of misfits. Biff is a forever captain of the substandard and gets to make sweet, sweet love to, I actually should say, instead of calling her just his ex-girlfriend, because now she's not his ex-girlfriend anymore.
Name is Jan Michaels.
She is Jan Michaels. Biff and Jan back together again, smooching on the beach. There we go.
That's it.
Oh, and then Ned Beatty gets arrested.
Which, oh yeah, he does. And Robert Vaughn totally sells him out.
Right. And Robert Vaughn's totally fine. Setting us up for the sequel. Going
Yes.
even further under. The end.
Yeah. That's it, man.
Yeah, it wasn't the
That
best
is-
description. I'm going to say we could have done better. That's what I'd say. I give it I give our description a 3 out of 10.
Great. Wonderful.
I think you're being too harsh.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
If you want to watch it, this movie is kind of harder to find, but
It
you
is.
can rent it on Amazon. I think that's where we got it. So
It's not that hard to find.
very correct. Not that hard. You just gotta be really rich. Be able to spend $3 willy nilly. Okay.
Willy-nilly.
In
Sure.
this economy,
Yeah.
in all economies.
I know. Trying to get those stimulus checks passed, man, so we can get more of these movies on deck.
Heck yeah.
All right. Okay. Should we get into some ratings here?
I think Alex should start because I know what he's going to
I
give
think
it.
he should. We don't want him to get too worked up if anybody says he's going to buzz us if we say something wrong, right?
Sure.
That's still the game.
Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing. But you know, this movie was actually, it was pretty good. It had a lot of good references and spoofs, and I mean the whole thing wasn't bad. You know, when you're watching something like this, you're gonna first probably think, why am I watching this? Am I that stupid? And if you just keep plowing through it, no, it's actually pretty good. You know, there is some production value to it, which is okay. You know, I don't know if they necessarily filmed it like in a sound stage or not, but it didn't look like some of these crappy other submarines that we've seen before. And I really liked how, you know, the captain's chair, it was, what was it, like a recliner, a plaid recliner? That was a nice little touch, you know, makes it homey. It was funny. I was laughing quite a bit. I kind of like the Star Trek stuff that they were throwing in there too, like the holodeck. And then at the end, he did a captain's log.
Captain's log, right? Yeah.
And that was pretty funny. The Pink November thing, although pretty weak, it was pretty funny how they were joking about it. I don't know. There was football. There's Mr. Rogers. I mean, Joe Namath was in it. There was a lot of cool stuff. Sub action was great. Very realistic. Very believable. Coming out of the water, being a bobsled, loved it. If you're gonna tell me I have to give a rating, which I feel like you guys are gonna tell me I have to give a rating,
it's actually required by law. Yep.
Yeah, this is gonna come in at like a 9.92 out of 12. Really good, great writing, great camera work, great acting, great story. Editing was on par.
Yeah, camera work was great.
Everyone who watched this movie the whole way through will love it. I guarantee it.
Oh, so it's like that Suits from Men's Warehouse.
You're going to like the
Not
way
a
you look.
sponsor.
I guarantee it.
Yep. What did I give it? A 9.92?
Yep.
Yeah.
Bump that up a little. 9.93. That sounds better.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna actually.
There you
I
go.
was
There you go.
legitimately gonna ask you what made it so I didn't get a 9.93, but now I know the answer is nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
I can jump in. I always do number 2. I'm not going to be as exuberant. Oh, that's right. I didn't even. Yeah, pun not intended.
Poop
Not-
joke.
It's not even a pun. But I'm not going to be as exuberant as Alex here. I thought this, as I recapped it, I think I enjoyed it more thinking about scenes than necessarily actually watching the movie. Like the actual stretch of time, I think probably I'd say 87% of it was kind of forgettable. And then there's a solid 13 to 14% of this movie that I enjoyed, like long hats. That was kind of fun, and some other aspects of the movie, and mostly the long hats. And so, you know, it's not the worst. It's not the best. Kind of boring. I like the production, though. I was a little surprised just how good. I mean, it really is almost like a Spaceballs. Definitely a Police Academy level production. So it looks good, despite it being not maybe as funny as one would think it would be, given that it's supposed to be a comedy. So yeah, I'm going to come in maybe at a 9.93, but maybe more like a 3.5. You know,
So kind of like a 9.93.
almost. I'm going
Like a
to I'm going
3.5.
to downgrade it because I didn't laugh very much.
Interesting.
Just make that out of 4, and then it's on par. It's pretty good.
Perfect.
That's
There
true.
you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. But it is out of 10/12.
Was Down Periscope like this, or was it more of just like a conventional comedy with more cohesive plot structure, less of the satire and spoofs and all that?
Yeah. More of a traditional
Okay.
comedy, and much
So
more kind
This
of.
is kind of one of a
about
kind
the-
in that regard, right?
Yes, yeah. I would say this is the only.
This is probably the closest thing to Down Periscope that we've seen since then.
Yes,
but
yeah, I would
Down
agree with
Periscope it actually has some like pretty serious sub stuff to it.
Yeah. This is that's what I'm saying. It's like this is a very different type of comedy. This is Police Academy, Hot Shots, Naked Gun style of comedy.
Yeah, I'd
What do
almost
they
say the
call it?
closest thing.
Send ups, or
Yeah.
spoofs, parodies.
Yeah, I'd almost say the closest thing comedy wise might have been Russians Are Coming. But
Yeah. I could see that.
No, that movie was hilarious.
I liked it better. Yeah, I like that one better than this one, I think. But yeah. Anyways, yep. So that's where I come in. 3.5.
Out of 4.
Well, out of whatever you want it to be out of.
Okay, I'll jump in.
Who's going next? There we go.
I will jump in, kill that dead air. So I was excited to see this. Not necessarily before I got into it, but once I started watching, I realized, I was again seeing like this was going to be like a parody or send up, because I didn't think we had seen anything like this yet to this point, and I thought it would be pretty cool to see what they would do to riff on various submarine movies. Ultimately, a little let down though. Jamie mentioned it was a little boring and definitely wasn't as strong as like a Naked Gun or Hot Shots or whatnot. But still had its funny moments. My particularly favorite moment definitely wouldn't have gotten mentioned in the recap there, just because it was such a non sequitur. But when the guy was like looking into it was kind of near the end of the movie. There's a guy, a radar tech or sonar tech or whatever, looking into one of the monitors, the goggles and whatnot.
Right.
And the guy, one of his superiors asked him a question. So he pulled his head away, and you could see the glow of the screen, the green sonar screen on his face. You could see the glow on it, and it looked very good. And then he stood up to report his findings, and the glow was still on his face. So it was obviously just like a glow-in-the-dark paint that was on his face. It was really funny. I thought that was a good joke. But that was my favorite moment. But there were several good ones. I liked a lot of stuff they were doing in the imaging chamber or whatever they called it. Bill Pullman playing golf and adopting this British persona as he lost his mind. But ultimately, again, not the strongest of these style of movies. I actually enjoyed watching a lot of those growing up. The Naked Guns and Charlie Sheen and Hot Shots. I'd say this is probably the weakest of any of those that I remember. Again, that was a long time ago. I'm going to give it I'll go to 4.
Yeah, you actually kind of convinced me. I'm going to bump mine up to a 4. There was things I enjoyed about it, different moments of it, and enough that I think I shouldn't get it to that 3.5. It should be a 4.
And on the uniqueness of it, I think it
yes, it is definitely very different. Actually, and if someone was like, "Oh, should I watch it?" I'd be like, "It's actually an interesting watch." Just from a spoof point of view, there's not many things. There are certain types of spoofs that are out there. You know, you have your scary movie or whatever, scary movies and that kind of stuff, and all those that were all made by the same people. Meet the Spartans, all those really silly ones. But I don't think there's much exactly like this one, especially a military spoof exactly like this with the submarine stuff. No, it doesn't really exist. This is pretty much it.
Yeah, I think this would actually be something I would recommend to an actual submariner.
Oh, God, they hate it.
If they haven't seen it. Huh?
Yeah,
Like if I recommended it to someone, I feel like they would hate it. They'd be like, why did you recommend this?
But I think just to illustrate the uniqueness of it, because everything else has already been done 4, 5, 6 times over, as we're starting to find out. But this fills a unique space, and definitely it sounds like it goes a different direction from Down Periscope, which a lot of submariners describe as the most accurate for portraying life on a submarine. This I don't think would win that accolade.
Probably not.
No. Zach, you want to go next? You want me to go?
I'll go. Just shut your damn mouth. I'll go.
All right.
Gloves
are off, man.
Well, I can't say much else that hasn't already been said. I mean, you guys have already been saying it, right? Like, it's going to be the Airplane-esque, Spies Like Us-esque, Spaceballs-esque. It's just, this wasn't as good as all those. So, still not bad. Maybe on the right night, laying on the right grass, you might really like this movie.
You know what I mean?
But if you're not, and
I get it.
but even if you're not, maybe you'll like it, maybe you don't. The good thing is that you're not gonna go to a theaters and see this. You're gonna have the choice to turn it off if you don't like it. So give it a shot if it's on. If not, that's okay. Watch one of the other mini movies we've covered on this beautiful podcast. Thank you.
Can I just ask, you said...
What was your rating?
Yeah, what was your rating?
Dude, I knew that. My rating was a 5.25.
No, I guess you said during your review, you were like, if it's just kind of on, then, just watch it. In what scenario is this movie actually on, other than if you rent it via Amazon?
Like you're at a friend's house and you pass out and you wake up and your friend rented this movie and it's just on. Yeah.
I see. So it's just like happens to be on because he specifically went and rented Going Under while you were passed out. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys,
favorite film.
Get a load of this. Hot Shots and Naked Gun 2.5 came out in 1991 as well. So this was the year,
quite the time.
The year of the send-up.
And 1991 was hilarious, right?
Hot Shots was the Air Force, kind of a spoof on Top Gun. But actually, it was really good reviews, 6.8, and Naked Gun 2.5 got a 6.9. So proving that those movies were actually very well regarded at the time, unlike Going Under.
All right. Well, I think Kyle's the only one left to do a review. So, Kyle, you ready to do this? He's not. He's not ready to do this.
Come on, Kyle, you dumb bitch.
He's having technical difficulties.
I don't even think you watched the movie.
Yeah,
hey,
pretty
everybody.
much. I'm
great.
Kyle. Hey, Kyle. Thank God you got your.
Yeah. I was just greasing up my beard. For my doctor wife.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, it's my turn. I will give a review. I was fond of this movie, late 90s television, and have since found it on DVD to watch. In this... I don't know what I'm doing. I changed voices. I'm trying to read this other review for it.
You went straight, and that's good, because I think that's right. I think you should go straight into love it or hate it. And I want to hear hate it first. Hate it first.
Okay. Hate It's going to be the longer of the two.
That's fine.
Okay. This comes from my guy, S. Zigma. August.
What?
That's it. S. Zigma. August 26th, 2008.
Sounds like Ligma.
Ligma what?
Ligma nuts.
No.
Bad, worst, totally awful, this movie.
Wow.
Here we go. Oh my God. This is the typical example of someone standing in line at the supermarket and coming up with a bad idea. Oh, naming a submarine substandard. How funny. Let's make a movie of it. And then, instead of going home and forgetting about it, he goes home, writes a few pages of script without even trying to make up something more funny. And then comes the unbelievable part. He manages to persuade a producer and Bill Pullman to make this movie. Go see Down Periscope if you want to see a submarine movie and have fun. And forget that precious raw material was ever wasted on this hashtag and sign, @ sign, exclamation point. 1 out of 10. Nobody found that helpful either, it said.
Really? I feel like that is helpful. He's even pointing them to another movie to watch. That is helpful. I disagree.
Who comes up with ideas in a movie or a checkout line, though?
Yeah, that seems like something specific to his life. Yeah. He's like, has a lot of bad ideas.
But I mean, maybe that's the viewer challenge, or listener challenge. Maybe all of us, the next time we're in a convenience store or a grocery store, have to think up a plot of a movie, and then we share it live on our podcast.
That's a good idea.
Hey,
Kyle, you're
Kyle's
back.
back.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Technical
like that
difficulties.
I've still got
So you
love
already
it.
you already gave your review. It didn't really go anywhere. It kind of rambled for a while, and you didn't actually give a score.
You said you were very
Wonderful.
fond of it.
I
you did sound like you're very
I
fond,
could still see the video, and I think I did see Zach say Kyle's a bitch. So I think I think I read his lips pretty darn well on that. Whatever. You got
said,
love it now?
No, he said Kyle's a witch.
Oh,
we
a
should
witch.
burn him at the stake. Yeah.
He said Kyle's on the bench because your mic cut out.
Yeah, I misheard it too.
Interesting.
All right. Yeah, but let me get through love it. Just shut up. Let me get through love it. This comes from Spirit Lifter, August 29th, 2019. Good old-fashioned 80s spoof. I love it.
Short and sweet.
Wow.
91.
That's it. But there's 2 more 5-star reviews. The other one says, movie legend, 5 out of 5. And the other one says, I love this movie. It's done the same way as Spaceballs. Silly fun.
Not inaccurate.
I mean, yeah, that's very true.
So Kyle's I review too. Silly fun.
I'll hop in
12
here
out of
now.
12.
Yeah, after a few technical issues. I think, like Zach said, we talked about a lot of this stuff. When I was watching, I thought, okay, really feeling Spaceballs vibes with this movie, but it just wasn't landing the way that Spaceballs does. Like, my mind instantly goes to that scene in Spaceballs where they're combing the desert, and they're like, comb the desert, and the guy's like, man, we ain't found shit, and that's one of my favorite parts of that movie. I don't know why, I just love that.
It's a great part, Kyle.
It is really good.
It is a good part.
And like we didn't have anything, I don't know, that was just like so short and just like, wow, that was great. We had some stuff that tried to be like that, but necessarily wasn't. I was really particularly having a good time with, we talked about ratcheting up the Cold War stuff. Just, you send this, I'll send this. Well, you're going to send that, I'm going to send this. And just kept going on and on and on. And the football scene at the end to me was just so bizarre.
American.
I mean, granted, there was some good stuff. What was that, the sound, Alex? You haven't been beeping anybody, have you?
That, I mean, it was very American. The sport of America. It's
very
football.
true.
That's why they did it.
It's true. Fun, yeah.
True.
Funny and true.
And we did have like the Goodyear blimp there, and
Bump mine up one more 0.01.
All right, so 9.94.
4. That's correct. Yeah.
And what we did have right when they got on the sub, and he kept saying like it's time to launch, and everybody thought it was time for lunch. And the guy pulled out a banana. I was like,
That's fucking funny.
Man.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Yeah. So
I
we
also
had
thought
that
the
going
same
on.
thing.
And honestly, like when we started this, and my gut feeling after I watched it was, I think, Jamie, like you said, you're like, as we talk about it more, maybe you like it a little bit better. But when I was watching it, I didn't particularly enjoy it.
I think your mind has thrown away all the parts you didn't like, and it's just preserving some kernels.
Yeah, I mean, and
now you're like, yeah,
I know, but there's not enough there, and so I don't know, man. I'm gonna give it like a 3.
Oh,
yeah. I feel like that evens it out pretty
low,
well. I think that
bro.
That kind of puts it down there. No, it's good. That's good. All right, so I'm going to blast through my part. Just really, really blast through it. As I mentioned before the podcast, or maybe earlier in the podcast, Hal Erickson wrote a book called Military Comedy Films, a critical survey and filmography of Hollywood releases since 1918, obviously picking that date because of World War I and the advent of films. And he originally in the book, he kind of even wrote that he had hoped he wouldn't have to write about it. He basically was only doing Hollywood releases, quote unquote, meaning theatrical releases. And as far as he knew, this film was never released to theaters, which is actually still on the Wikipedia page as saying never released in theaters. He writes in the book, though, that you can clearly find that there must have been showings because there are a number of reviews in newspapers talking about the reaction of audiences and the fact that the reviewer watched it in a theater. So it had some level of theatrical release, just not a huge amount. But anyways, in that book he writes, unlike A Man Called Sarge, Going Under actually indicates that some thought and money went into its preparation. So positive note compared to another one that he clearly didn't like. He said, while the production values are not lavish, they are at least up to 1990s theatrical feature standards. So Wikipedia uses that as the quote. It cuts off the part where he says the big problem is that it's just not funny. I think that happens like right after they make that quote. But anyways, yes, it was released. It was filmed in 1990 as a film called Dive and released straight to VHS, according to Wikipedia on August 23rd, 1991. So that's pretty much all there's not much trivia for Going Under. Besides that, that's pretty much it. So instead, and I usually would jump over to something like Jeopardy or something, but I was interested, instead of asking Jeopardy questions, random trivia questions, I did want to ask, what were your guys' favorite spoof films?
Spaceballs.
So yours would be Spaceballs.
Yeah.
That's the one that's kind of like the main guy.
Yeah, that one's really funny.
I haven't seen Spaceballs.
See if we're missing any.
What about Austin?
Oh, yeah.
Do you consider Austin Powers?
I do. Yes.
Then definitely Austin
good.
Powers.
I like Robin Hood Men in Tights a lot.
Dude. God, there's so many good ones, though. Like,
yeah, Robin Hood Men in Tights is
what,
that.
Alex,
that
you were
would be
about
up
to
there.
say it. What was that one you were about to say?
Me?
Yeah, Airplane. Yeah, Airplane is so good.
Yeah, so I think one we're probably missing is I do very much enjoy MacGruber. And MacGruber's a solid spoof film. Again, it's another one that's kind of like a specific spoof film. Then you have things like Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead.
I know
Hot Fuzz is amazing.
I know mine. Oh,
What's that?
man. Well, I don't. All right. Do you consider Monty Python the Holy Grail a spoof movie?
Is it a spoof movie? What's a spoof?
Maybe not a spoof movie. I don't know.
I thought you were is Zombieland a spoof movie?
I think that's considered a spoof movie. But
Yeah.
Zach, what I'm talking about here. I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts.
Yeah, a little kung pao. Kung pao
Pao's
under the
pretty good.
fist.
Dude, I need to watch that movie again.
Me too.
That movie
yeah.
is amazing. My word.
That's a lot of nuts.
I'm going to throw out another one, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Oh, that's
I
a
have
really good one.
I
place in my
saw
heart.
that movie in theaters and hated it, so I need to see it again.
Oh,
It's very
my
good.
gosh.
And I do want to throw out, in terms of the much more, what now I think would be typically thought of as being spoof movies, things like scary movies and those
Those are
guys.
spoof movies.
No, I know. I'm saying that I think nowadays that's what people would think of when they think of a spoof movie. Would be something like a scary movie where it really does like it kind of like smushes together like a million different parodies.
Scary
rather
Movie
than
2
something
is
like,
really good.
yeah, but not another teen movie. I find
remember
quite
that
funny.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex,
I
what
throw that
about
one
This
out
is
there
Spinal
for a
Tap?
model.
You really like that one, right?
Oh my god, I totally forgot about that one. Yes,
Yeah.
that movie is hilarious.
And Young Frankenstein, we got that.
This is Spinal Tap's amazing.
Spinal Tap is so funny.
It
I
was
like that
actually,
one better than Best in Show.
dude, that was
Oh my
referenced in
god,
a game
Best
I
in
was
Show's
playing.
fucking phenomenal.
So, anyways, I didn't want to open it up, but it does tell you just all the different, just the many flavors of parody that are out there in the end.
It's like your
I'm just talking
weekly
about
ice
ones-
cream.
Yeah, and I'm seeing one on this list. So a movie that I watched like every day when I was a kid, UHF, they have listed as a parody
Oh,
film.
dude, that's a heck of
Oh,
a movie.
that's-
Love UHF.
That's Weird Al, right?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was like my favorite movie growing up was Weird Al.
Now,
Or
this
as,
one site
UHF.
has Team America listed as a spoof movie.
See, I think that's the thing. In the end, it's like there's a bunch of different flavors of
Whatever you wanna
spoof. It's kind of, and then there's ones that are very much like very strong parodies. Here, like UHF is a parody because all his imagination scenes
Gandhi
are
too.
parodies. Yeah, and like in the beginning when they spoof Indiana Jones and stuff like that when he's in his imagination, and so his all that stuff are parodies. But it's mixed in with a much more straightforward narrative. It's funny. I love this movie. Watched it all the time when I was a kid, like literally all the time. Sometimes like every day for stretches. And I'm just seeing now on Wikipedia it says released internationally as The Vidiot from UHF. That was the name. The Vidiot from UHF.
Really? From
Idiot with a
UHF?
V on the front. Yeah, The Vidiot from UHF was the name of this
Oh,
film in the international release.
Galaxy
Vidiot.
Quest on here.
Galaxy Quest is a really popular one.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. So all right, I'm gonna finish up with a little Phantom Zone. Do you have the? Oh.
Engage the Phantom.
That man's voice. Love it.
This isn't even. It's not even worth really going through too much because Bill Pullman, obviously, Independence Day. Ned Beatty, obviously, we mentioned in a number of films, including 1941 and Great Lady Down, and then Robert Vaughn, who we saw in Virus. So there's a number
Wendy
of people that
Shaw
we
as
already
well.
saw. What was she in?
Inner Space.
Oh yeah, Inner Space. That's right. And so, I actually think I've used this film a number of times in previous times, because jumping through 1941 to this forwards is a pretty easy way to get from some obscure older films to the newer films. But I did want to talk about it. It's kind of interesting because, obviously Bill Pullman, this was 1991. Spaceballs was 1987, I think. So really not that long after that, he did another parody film. And he had just started working in Hollywood when he got Spaceballs. Like he got to LA. He was like a professor before. And then he got to LA and in 1986 and got a starring role in Spaceballs. It was like pretty much his first role he ever did, was being the lead in Spaceballs.
That's a hell of a role.
Yeah, and I think Ed Harris would say the same thing because he was really wanting that. He was like in every day, calling people up, auditioning over and over again, being like, I want this role. But they gave it to Bill Pullman, and he was like, you motherfucker. And so when Going Under was coming up, he's like, I am not losing another role to Bill Pullman. And he took a whole year's worth of submarine training. He actually became a captain of a submarine, an actual captain. He not even for a movie role. He enlisted into the Navy and became a captain of a submarine. And for an entire year was a captain of a submarine. He already had an 8-pack, but he got a 10-pack just for the movie, which is very difficult. I don't know if have you ever done that? Tried to get a 10-pack?
No.
Nope.
Okay, well, it's very difficult. I can only get 6 or 7 packs. But and so he had done all this stuff. He really got real greased up, ready for day one. They actually gave him the role. They were like, "Yes, you've beat out Bill Pullman." And Bill Pullman was like, "Fuck you, Ed Harris." And he's like, "Fuck you, Bill Pullman. Fuck you right back." And they, and got him out of the way. Showed up the first day. Who's there on set? Ned Beatty. And he's like, "Bro, Ed Harris, Beatty, Ned Beatty." And he remembered he had sworn he would never work with his brother again after touring Germany in the circus, and was like, no way, I can't even, I'm sorry, I can't do this. So after all that work, he had to leave the project. It's like a well-known story.
It's crazy.
It's the first time I've heard it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird though, because it's so well known, bro.
Well, yeah, especially, I mean, it's a huge part of their biopic, the Beatty brothers.
And you know what? Happy belated birthday, Ed Harris. 70 years young.
That's right. Yeah, 70 years old. Ugh.
We missed it. We're sorry.
He doesn't look a day under 67.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen him since Geostorm, so I'm not. I'll have to check in on him, make sure he's doing okay.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for subs worldwide. So I think it's been a while, right, since I've had an actual sub here to talk about, but I figured I would do it. I was like, what's the fastest built submarine ever? So I wanted to find something because this was built in a week. So I was like, let's see. But all my search results got me was the fastest submarine. Also happened to be very expensive. So I was like, I'll go ahead and use that one because the submarine, the USS Substandard, was also quote unquote expensive. The Russian K-222, a Project 661 submarine, is actually the only Project 661 submarine built. The only one, also known as the Anchor or Ankar. I don't know how to pronounce this stuff. Class, NATO classifies it as the Papa class. So in 1958, Communist Party of... Yes, exactly. That's how they say it when they would see it coming through. Papa! The Communist Party of the USSR wanted a high-speed submarine built. And so they want it, they get what they want. They designed the submarine with a titanium hull, so it's very lightweight and strong, although that does lead to some issues because the Russian Navy had not really ever worked with titanium on this level. So they had to figure out all kinds of new ways to get this thing manufactured. And another problem with titanium is that it is slightly magnetic. And sometimes sea mines go off of magnetism. So not the safest method to keep your boys safe. The sub has a rounded bow and two screws in the back.
Ooh, would that be for twin immersion? We can do a little twin screw action.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, twin screwing. Yeah, you can get that going. And so, like I'd mentioned, with the special techniques to work on titanium, Russians actually had to get these sheds that they would fill with argon gas so they could work on them in there, and you'd have to wear like a moon suit when you're in there working on the submarine. Specs for this thing: it is 350 feet, 9 inches long, has a beam of 38 feet, 1 inch, has 2 nuclear reactors on it, can be out at sea for 70 days, has a test depth of 1,312 feet, 4 inches, and it can hold 82, and 25 of them being officers. Now, the big thing with this submarine is that they wanted it to be fast. They said, we want the fastest submarine ever built. Did they get it? Oh, yeah. What do you guys think this submarine can do? Underwater, fastest submarine, still to this day holds the record for the fastest submarine.
I'm going to say it's doing a clean 70 miles per hour.
Okay.
Underwater?
Underwater.
I'll go 18 miles per hour.
Okay.
Just writing it down.
19.
Oh,
Nice.
Price is right. Here we go. All right, Alex, what do you got?
Just so I'm clear, this is about how fast this submarine is traveling underwater.
Correct.
I'm going to say like 40 knots.
Okay. Let me get out my handy dandy calculator here, Alex.
Wait, isn't that 20
Handy
miles?
dandy
Isn't that
notebook.
20 miles per hour?
Knots
That's
to
20 miles.
No.
That's 46 miles per hour.
Okay. The closest without going over is Alex. At this submarine, so 40 knots, ladies and gentlemen, translates
pretty
into
fast.
46 miles per hour. This submarine was clocked at going 51 miles an hour underwater.
Wow.
That's pretty fast.
That's really fast.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
looking at-
it's really fast. So I mean, I think
Yeah.
the Virginia class, you know, like the US's new submarines, fast. I think they're going maybe 35 as their top speed.
What's funny is after they achieved that speed, they actually went back to the military and they were like, you know what, a little too fast.
Well,
Kyle-
funny you say that, Jamie. So when they were going that fast, the submarine would generate a ton of noise. It said that it would generate about 100 decibels of noise inside the submarine. And I was trying to look it up, you know, see what's that about. And that's about the equivalent of being on a construction site. And when they're going that fast, damage to the exterior of the submarine also did occur.
Yeah, so that's a little fast.
Yeah, a little too fast. But what was really impressive, I mean, even with it being that loud, this submarine wasn't detected by the Americans until 1981, and it was launched in, sorry, I thought I let you guys know that, launched in 1969. Took 6 years to build, so laid down in 63, commissioned in 69.
Not detected till 81.
Yeah, I know, pretty crazy.
Probably because it was so loud, we were listening to it. We're like, there's no fucking way that's a submarine.
Nobody would ever do that. Yeah. Sounds like a bomb going off. So for weapons, it had 4 torpedo tubes. It held 12 torpedoes. And one of the main things that they wanted to do with the sub is turn it into like a anti-ship missile submarine. So they used the P-70 Amethyst missiles. And so something that blew my mind, I had no idea. They had to invent these missiles. So before they had these, the Soviet Union had to have their subs, if they were going to launch a sub to whatever missile, sit on the surface for 30 minutes until they could get that missile launched, which is a little dangerous for them, right? You don't want to, you're not trying to sit exposed that long. So the P-70 could be launched underwater. However, they were shortly replaced right after they were made. Only 200 of them were actually made. And while this movie we watched, took a week to build a submarine, as I'd mentioned, this took 6 years to build. Commissioned in 1969, decommissioned in 84. So once the Americans detected that, they're like, get this out of here, we're done with it. Finally, it was scrapped in 2010. Kind of crazy because this submarine was never designed to actually have The nuclear reactors taken out. So when they scrapped it, they had to do it with nuclear reactors still in it, which is not really safe. This is also made famous in a Tom Clancy book called Red Storm Rising, which is also a game that I've been trying to get my hands on, but it's like a DOS game or Commodore 64 game. It's not made its way to Windows, so I have to got the DOS box. Might have to try to find that and see what we can do. But
I bet Patrick could help you with that. We do some really old. We play some really old games, and so we've done some abandonware. He's got ways of playing things that no longer even sold. They just kind of exist as out floating around.
I will have to talk to him then. So a lot of this information you can find in the article called "The Soviets' Golden Fish Missile Submarine Still Holds the Record as the World's Fastest," written by Joseph Trevithick from February 13th, 2019 on thedrive.com. So you can find that there. And as always, Wikipedia has plenty of good information as well. But that's what I've got for Subs Worldwide.
Kyle,
Thank you.
K-19, the Widowmaker, was a famously rushed through production submarine. Although
That's right.
I'm assuming you already talked about that when we did the K-19.
I know, that's the thing, is I'm trying to cover ones that I haven't done before, and when we're 125 episodes in, I know I've taken some episodes off, but
that one was rushed through production so fast that 11 people died before it even made it to sea.
wow. It is no bueno.
No siree, Bob.
I don't approve. All right. Should we go to Brown?
It's typically the news if Alex has some.
I know, but Alex did. I feel like he may have jailbroke for a second to go do something. I'm not sure he's here right now.
Oh, did he say something? Or are we just
Yeah,
guessing?
Yeah, I
Wait,
think
okay.
he's on.
He left,
Okay.
man. He
He's
abandoned us.
gone. He's gone. Just accept it. He's not here. Okay,
Then
Brom.
link me in.
Tube 3 ready
Tube
to fire,
6.
sir.
Commence the countdown.
Give it to me.
Give it to me.
All right. So, for my countdown this week, we watched a less than stellar movie from the year 1991. So IMDb argues it was a sucky movie, and so I actually have top 5 sucky facts from 1991. Nice. You guys probably don't know this. I mean, you're all complaining about 2020, but 1991 actually, upon doing a little bit of research, was actually a pretty sucky year. No joking.
Were you in a recession
aside,
or something?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's some, what was it?
The race riots, probably.
Yeah, there was Rodney King riots, stuff like that. But here's my top 5 sucky facts from 1991, and the facts themselves are also pretty sucky. Number 5, Silence of the Lambs was the only good movie to come out in 1991. This comes from me. This fact. But doing some research, Silence of the Lambs, only good movie to come out in 1991. You can look it up. There's really not much else to choose from. There was like Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Right now.
And I don't think
Was
so.
Home Alone that year?
I don't think so. Hook.
Point Break.
You can make an
Robin Hood.
argument.
Hook
All right,
came
Point
out?
Break's pretty
That's
soon.
fucking
Yeah.
better than that.
Okay. Pretty slim pickings.
I'm looking.
All right.
I'm trying to find it.
No. Yep. I just googled 1991 like an idiot. There we go.
Wait,
I mean, I
Terminator
can't.
2?
Terminator
That's
2 is
why I
one of
said
the greatest movies ever made.
That's what.
Delirious with John Candy came. An American Tale, 5 Goes West. Oh my God, this is a great year. We got Turtles 2.
I think it's a sucky year. Number 4.
Beauty and the Beast, the Disney
Beauty and the
movie?
Beast. That's pretty good. But you're right. I mean, some of these, the other ones nominated for the big awards are
Curly Sue.
I'm not joking. Like, if you actually look across media, there's actually some articles you can read about it where people say what happened in 1991. And let me finish my top 5.
So
here.
usually what happens is that when you start a decade, things are a little, because they're still trying to feel out what how things are changing. When you end is usually when things are good. But whatever.
City Slickers.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna get through these 5. Go, Bram.
Get to the point. The point
Get through these
break.
4.
Number 4, Motown Philly was the only great song to drop in 1991.
See, I wouldn't know so much about this. Other songs were there.
Look at the top 100 songs from 1991. There's an article called "The Music Sucked in 1991." Check it out by D Barefoot, and he is completely right. You got to get to number 11, Motown Philly, before you find a good song on here, like a great song. There's a couple good songs.
So I want to sex you up. Not good.
That's honestly in my top 5 of 1991. I love that song. I'm a big New Jack fan. So pretty much all my songs from 1991 would probably be New Jack songs.
I don't even recognize.
Aisha's on here.
Our boys from Atlantic Rim released OPP that year, man.
OPP, that's a good one.
You down with OPP?
I'm down with
recognize any of this stuff, this music.
Enter Sandman? How you feel about that one?
This guy speculates, and some other people speculate, this is what gave birth to the grunge movement because the music was so bad in 1991. Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and Smashing Pumpkins all came out with a feature album that year. But even groups like Faith No More, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, Soundgarden, and Blind Melon didn't drop any albums that year. So
Dude,
big missed
I'll let you
opportunity.
continue. I'll go to
Tom
3.
Petty,
but
Learning to Fly. That's a good one.
Michael Bolton, When a Man Loves a Woman.
Ooh, now we're talking, man. Now we're talking.
All right.
Some other
Number
really good
3
ones.
of my sucky facts from 1991. 1991 was not the year I was born. So
Sucks.
very fortunate for me, unfortunate for the world at large. I wasn't born that year. Number 2, in sports, some really crappy teams won the big trophies that year. The New York Giants beat the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 25. They couldn't even get one team to be outside of the state of New York. They had to have both teams from where's the diversity there? That sucks. And then I don't know if you guys have heard of this shithole country, but the Minnesota Twins beat the Atlanta Braves in the World Series.
Wowzers.
You gotta give Minnesota some things. They have a lot of heartbreak in their sports.
Pretty true.
It's the only thing they have. They're just holding on to that Minnesota Twins championship.
They really are, man. Because I'll tell you what, living here, I've got a lot of Vikings friends, and
Dire stuff.
well, one of our buddies in particular, I mean, he was like, he's used to it. He's lived here his whole life, so he's like, man, they're just never gonna do it. But then when that Minneapolis Miracle catch happened, he bought a shirt for it. He was all on board.
Sad. He has a shirt from that.
Yeah, and then they just. And I mean, me being a Green Bay fan, I was okay with it. And I was like, yeah, good. But just to see the life drained from his eyes, I was like, man, sorry, bud.
Number 1. Zach, you paying attention?
Kind of.
You're gonna like this one. It's Nintendo Entertainment System related. Guys, get a load of this. Blockbuster's most rented Nintendo Entertainment System video game. We're talking number 1 sucky fact here. You guys know what game this is?
Frogger.
Most
SimCity.
rented.
Is
most
it Metroid?
rented.
Super Metroid?
Most rented
No, that's a great
Nintendo
game.
Entertainment System
Mario
game.
Kart.
No, it's a great game.
I know, but
Monopoly.
but some of these
Not
facts
Super,
of them
This is
are
gonna
not
be a
Super,
sucky
not
fact.
Super Nintendo, Kyle.
Oh, shoot, you're right.
This is going to be
Original
something
Nintendo.
like Gangbangers 2.
Tecmo Super Bowl or
Monopoly.
Monopoly.
I said that. I said
said
that earlier
Monopoly?
in this thing. I said Monopoly. I guessed it. I knew it was going to be something sucky
How
like that.
embarrassing is that? Sega at least had Sonic the Hedgehog come out that year, but big letdown from Nintendo.
Can you imagine, though? I mean, I've got Monopoly on PS4 for some reason.
At least you can play that online.
You can't imagine digital games.
Well, this is one of my physicals. Out of like 35 physical PS4 games, Monopoly is one of them.
Is Alex back?
I don't think so. But those were
all right. I think we just got to
5
head towards our end.
My top 5 sucky facts from 1991.
I think we got to take this guy in for a landing. Bring it to him.
Zach Facts, it's Zach Facts. When you're going down, get some Zach Facts when you're going down. Okay. God damn it. Ooh. Hit the knee on the table on that one, listeners and gang. Okay, I am coming at you live from Zach Factland, called Zafactland, and got a new one this week, everybody. Got a new one.
Oh.
It's a twist. It's a twist, and everyone's doing the twist. It's the kids and the teenagers that are playing the twist and then dancing the twist. It's called the Zach Fact Twist.
What is that guy on right now? I want some of that.
Oh, the Zach Fact Twist. What's the twist?
It's a Zach Fact Twist.
Yeah. Alrighty, gang. I'm going to read you, yes, all of you, Zach Facts. And you got to name the movie that it's from. What movie was that from?
Kung Pao.
What?
Nothing. Zoolander. All right. Anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Are they going
Here
to
we
be
go.
that subtle?
Maybe. No, they're
Oh,
going to
my
have words.
gosh.
Not just sound effects.
It's like,
Okay.
dude, you got to be kidding me.
All right, here we go. Here's a quote from a movie. Not a quote. I'm an idiot. Here's a Zach fact from a movie. You tell me the movie.
Okay.
Woo! My first day. The mouse in the cage is the same mouse from Stuart Little.
The mouse in the cage is the same mouse as in Stuart Little.
Indian in the Cupboard.
Oh.
Submarine movie.
Oh, it's a sub movie?
It's one of the ones
man.
we've done. Was that not
The
implied?
Abyss.
Sorry, yeah. It's only movies we've watched for this podcast.
The Abyss.
That's Ben's guess. It's wrong.
Mouse in a cage.
K19. K19 Widowmaker.
No, that was a...
Ding, 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 ding.
Really?
K19.
I knew they had animals in those ones.
Good job, Jamie. 2 points. 2 points. 1 point to Ben for trying. Kyle, you get nothing because you didn't even try.
Hey, I said the Indian in the Cupboard, man.
That's actually true. Give him a half point.
Yeah, come
It's
on.
a bad guess. It's not a good guess.
I need to finish reading the Zach fact until I hear an answer. Is that understood? Okay.
Yes, Mr. Zach.
Kevin Costner thought, and still does, that this was called Field of Dreams 2, A Wet Dream.
Waterworld.
Waterworld.
Oh, Kyle casually gets it. Nicely done.
I like that. A wet dream. My gosh.
That was one of the ones, you guys laughed a lot at that, and I
Yeah,
felt
we
good
did.
about myself.
That was a good one. I think I gave you credit, like extra credit, because you were really sucking them up that week until that
these
one
are
was
ones
like
that you've
amazing.
done before then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you're
gotcha.
guessing the movie. Was that not implied? Maybe I just misspoke, but
No, I don't know.
I thought you were making up now about movies that we watched
That's
before.
what I
And actually, I was going to say
thought
that's
also.
very impressive.
oh my
Yeah.
God, no. Okay. Here's another one. Turns out the Russian captain was a pedophile.
Wow.
This was a Zach fact?
Hunt for Red October?
No, see, this is where were there?
Why do I look so white?
I don't know. You do look really white, but
God, it's terrible.
The Russian captain. I want to. Man, it's not.
It's been talked
Too
about
many
tonight.
Rush. Really?
Oh, the Russians are coming. The Russians are coming?
Yep.
Wow.
Okay. I kept thinking about that one where you're like, gosh, I think it was like the 5th episode where the sub was on fire. Like nobody knew that they were filming a movie. It's just a natural reaction.
Oh God.
My God.
Okay. Everybody, I'm sure all you dedicated Submersion fans will remember this famous Zach fact.
Is this one of the ones that Zach couldn't get out?
No, this is
Maybe.
so stupid.
It's like Zach's
So
own.
stupid. Okay. Remember this good old Zach fact number? Damn it.
Quick before Alex leaves again.
The director felt that a facial in a submarine wasn't classy. However, was told to include it in the film.
That seems totally out of context.
It's gonna be the cunt for Red October, right? Oh shoot! I have to censor that.
Porn movie.
I think it's the first time we said that word on the pod.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's right. You gotta bleep that. Bleep that out.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so funny.
Was I
Get
right?
it out? Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right.
Just the beginning of that fact, the director felt that a facial in a summer wasn't classy. Oh my God. How did I ever think of that stuff? My Zach facts were better in the old days, I tell you. All right. Here's another quick one. A quick one. Matthew McConaughey was confused most of the movie.
571.
Someone said it first. Yeah.
Me.
I think it was maybe Kyle.
Okay. Good one. Here's another. That one's too easy. How about cases of crabs increased by 400% after this movie was released? It might be related.
It's gotta be Das Boot.
That's
Oh
good, right?
shit, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
The whole
last
crab
one.
talk. They talked a lot about crabs.
Last one, gang. Last one. Okay, here we go. Let's say it is. Okay, this is pretty obscure. All the pigs used had the same name.
Pigs?
Operation Petticoat.
Oh shit! Ben snipes it, dude.
Wow.
Ben
I was gonna say,
snipes.
there's a whole
Headshot.
stealing of things. Yeah.
No scopes it, man. Nice.
Wow.
All right. Well, that was amazing trip down memory lane.
I remember.
How quick would you have
yours.
guessed it? If I would have said the other one, I was bouncing between the pigs one, or originally had the title "Two Men in the Pink." Would you have known that one?
That actually might have been harder. The pig was a big part of Operation Petticoat.
Okay, cool.
Zach, I remember one of
so yeah.
yours back in the day that you couldn't get it out because it was choking you up so much, but it was somebody's ex-wife showed up on set on the warpath, basically, and to spite her ex-husband, she had sex with every member of the crew. I can't remember where that was from, though.
What? Oh my God! I gotta try to find that. How long ago was that one?
Oh, God, it's probably like episode 30 to episode 60 range.
Oh
Man,
shit! All right,
crazy,
All right.
dude. We've been doing this for
right.
3 years now. We were recording for 3 years.
That's crazy.
It's a long
I
time.
think Alex is back if he's got some news for us.
Well, it's kind of an older news story, but it's a news story nonetheless.
Ooh.
And I was just thinking this whole time, this is probably what Bill Pullman should have done for this last movie that we just watched. Or like his character. What was his character? Biff.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in from September of 2012, submarine commander fake death to end affair, the Navy says.
That's the type of stuff that we're looking for here.
So, turns out the Navy found word of this and they relieved him of his duties after he was found that he faked his own death in order to end extramarital affair that he was having. Sounds like this captain had met someone through online dating. So for 2012, he's a little bit ahead of his time, I guess, because I feel like that's probably a little early on.
It's still frowned on at that point, maybe, or not.
Yeah.
As widely popular. I'm just kidding.
2007. Never mind.
Okay. Turns out the woman got pregnant somehow.
It happens.
Unfortunately, there were some complications due to that, according to this article. It doesn't say what. But I guess he sent some kind of note or some sort of package, made it to her, indicating that he had died. And the lady went over to the house to give condolences. But he had actually moved. And the owner of the house from where he just moved said that the person ratted him out. And that's how they found out that he actually didn't die. So, not a very good death faking, or fake death, I guess is probably a better way to put it, Yeah, I mean, that's it. I was looking up stupid news stories because we watched a stupid movie, and this is one that popped up. And I really think it's something that that Biff should have probably done. He probably should have tried to fake his own death. Now, in the movie, they probably just would have brought him back as like a skeleton, right? Dead captain.
That would have been good.
Probably would have been funnier. I probably would have rated it like a 9.95 at that point.
Wow, a whole nother 0.01.
Yeah.
I can't find that.
That's the only good one I found.
Go.
Could you imagine working your whole life up being a Navy commander? The same rank as James Bond. And
that's what everybody's thinking when they're going for that job, right?
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
All because he faked his. He was the commander of USS Schittsburg. So I mean, it makes sense. He probably would do something like that, but.
So I don't have notes on the time I talked about someone going to the set to get back at the director and having sex with all. That is by far the funniest shit I've probably ever thought of, because that's hilarious.
So Bram, just go back and listen to episodes 30 through 60 and let Zach know.
Well, it's not that bad because it would have to be one that both Zach and I were on. So
and it had to have been before I started doing these Google notes. So
which was when?
Which was, let me go back to
1987.
87, he says. December 7th, 2017. My first Google Notes was Hunt for Red October.
My God, 2017.
Wait, the release date of the Hunt for Red October was way after that.
Yeah, as you say, it was like our 40th episode.
It was December 18th,
I'm sorry.
2018.
That's just a link. That's just a link to the drive. Where the fuck do I have that? Crimson Tide, December 7th, 2017.
You didn't watch that one.
I got notes for it.
That's episode 2.
You didn't watch it.
I'll find it, Zach. I'll find it. Don't worry.
This movie made Steve Zahn's career. Fact.
Smash cut.
Are we still recording?
Probably.
Thank you for listening to Submersion. Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. If you like what you heard, please leave us a rating wherever you listen. Want to interact with us? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also love to get messages from all of you. If you have a suggestion, a comment, or just anything you'd like to share, please email us at macestudios@gmail.com.